Okay. So one thing that Kendra talks about is she goes through 10 questions to ask yourself. And it's kind of an eye-opener even for me, just because I've been coaching for a year now. And then she goes through and she talks about some of the things that help her with her business to help keep her organized. And so I haven't been able to get on and mess with it yet. That's what I'm planning on doing today when she goes down for a nap. But the two things that she talks about is Asana, and that is free, and then Evernote, that's also free. So if you guys have time to mess with it, that's what I'm going to start using. And so I encourage you ladies to use it as well, because she uses it to help. She uses it to follow up with her challengers, with people that are interested in certain programs, and it just keeps track of everything for you. And you can set reminders so that an alarm goes off so that you can just check it and be like, oh, I need to message this person today. So I'm going to start using it. I highly encourage you ladies to start using it. Do you want up here too? So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So the first question that she asks is kind of what we talked about last week, was like, when do you work? So all of us have different schedules and different things that we're doing. And I know that Alyssa, and Sierra, you guys are both going to school. And I know that Sierra works too. So we're all busy. And she goes through and says her schedule, because she worked for a corporate office for a while. And so she would have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and she got her workout done. And then she would work on Beachbody for an hour. And then she would get her kids ready and get herself ready, go to work. Then at lunchtime, she would check on her calls. And then at 6 o'clock, she would get home, so she'd make dinner. And then after her kids went to bed, she would work on Beachbody for another hour. And that was Monday through Thursday. And then Fridays were date nights with her husband, so they would go on dates. So whatever your case is, because I know that you both have homework that you have to do, I guess I'm lucky in that aspect. But so I was actually talking to my husband about it, because it's important to get your spouse on board and kind of let them know what your schedule is going to be so that they can help support you through it. So I sat down and I talked to Jordan and I asked what was going to work best for us. And so I'm probably going to start waking up earlier so that I can get my workout and my 3 vital behaviors done right in the morning. And then during nap time is when I'll push the business. And then I'll push it again when he's working on homework at night. So that's what my schedule is. So I encourage you ladies to figure that out. And she also sent me all the forms that she uses, and I've been posting those in the group just before we got on the call. So there is a scheduler on there that you guys can print out and use if that's what you like. I also have, I think I showed this to you guys a couple times ago, but I actually have one of these organizing planners that goes hour by hour that I like to use too, to keep track of things. So just whatever works best for you, just set a schedule for yourself. And know that those times that you're working on Beachbody, obviously we all have little kids. And so sometimes you kind of have to, give a little bit. But then those times that you have set for your family, make sure that you're turning off your alerts on your phone. I didn't even think of this, but one of the things that she talks about is, what's the first thing that you do when you wake up in the morning? I'm going to ask you guys that. What's the first thing that you guys do? What is it?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, when I first wake up in the morning, I play on my phone, I guess, after I go get my son out of bed. So.
Okay. And what do you do when you first wake up?
I work out, and then I get myself ready, and then I get the girls ready.
Okay, so I guess I'm like Alyssa, but she goes over on to turn, like, literally turn off everything on your phone, your alerts on Facebook, Instagram, everything, turn it off. Because when you first wake up, I'm really bad at this. So when she said it, I just laughed because it's totally something I do. I check my phone every single morning when I wake up. I look at it thinking, oh my gosh, look at all these people that message me, like I need to get back to them like right away. It just automatically stresses you out. You want to look at your notifications. You want to see what everyone's doing, and you want to help the people that have messaged you, and you want to answer questions. So that is one thing that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so true. And she's like, if you're at least halfway normal, she's like, all of us Beachbody coaches at one point will do this. She's like, I don't care who you are, you'll all do it. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, wow. So she goes through and says, so before I go to bed, she puts her phone on airplane mode, but she's like, or you can just turn off all your notifications. So that night that I listened to her call, I went through and I turned off my Facebook notifications so that it didn't pop up on my phone. I turned off even my text messages so that when people text me, when I look at my phone in the morning, it's so I can look strictly just at the time instead of starting my day off feeling overwhelmed, because that's what that does when you check your phone in the morning, is you just automatically feel so overwhelmed and you automatically want to help everyone else first before you do what you need to get done. So Sierra, if you don't check your phone, kudos to you. I'm proud. But I know that I'm really bad at it. So I've tried it the past couple times, and she says the first hour that you wake up, she'll tell you who says it, because she's one of those people that'll search up, like research what kind of things help with whatever. But anyway, she talks about the benefits of not checking your cell phone the first thing you do when you wake up, especially with a business. So what she does, the first hour that she wakes up, she does stuff for herself. So I know that Brigitte Linford, when she first wakes up, she writes a list of the things that she's thankful for. I know that Kendra wakes up and does her workout first, and then she reads her personal development or listens to it, and then the next hour is when she starts working on Beachbody stuff. So whatever works for you, just make sure that first hour is for yourself, because that way something that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to write down what I need to accomplish for that day, like with my own personal things. So like, for instance, obviously I'm going to have to get my child ready, which she is still in her pajamas right now. But she goes through and she says, do stuff for yourself. So that's what I am going to do. I went and bought a tablet yesterday, and every morning before I wake up, I'm going to write 10 things I'm grateful for. And then I'm also going to write the things that I need to get done that day for myself and for my family first. Then those times that like you don't want to do anything, but you know that you need to get stuff done, it'll push you to get things done. So, all right, let me see what else she says. Okay, so then she talks about multitasking. As moms, we all multitask. I don't care who you are. But she goes through and she talks about why it's not good to multitask in some things. And she goes through and she actually gives you the statistics. So she went through and she actually timed herself of when she was multitasking, trying to do one thing and another. And when she was fully focused on getting something done, she made it happen a lot quicker than if she was trying to do tons of different things at once. So I encourage you, because I'm really bad at this, so I'm going to work on this as well, is multitasking. Like, try not to multitask when you're trying to get something done. Just, if you're working on that one thing, work on that one thing and just get it done, because it'll be a lot quicker that way. Let's see. The next question that she asks is, do you work from a list? So I know that I've talked about this a little bit with you guys. She strictly asks if you work from a list every day. That's why when I wake up, I'm going to do the list. But she actually gives you her weekly checklist that she uses every single day, that the things that are non-negotiable to her with her business. And so I put that file in our team page. So if you guys want to get on and print one of those off too, then you can. It's there. But that's what I use. And she actually made this like 6 months ago or something. But she's never like gone in depth of what it is. So I'm pretty sure that you guys have seen it. But that's what I use every day. The things that are non-negotiable to me for my business, as long as I get those things on my checklist done for Beachbody, then I know that my business is going to keep moving forward instead of being at a standstill. Let's see. The next one is, I already went over that one. Okay, she goes over being addicted to your phone. And me and my husband were actually talking about this one because I'm really bad, but when we do team calls, I sit it on my table and my family listens to it while we eat dinner. So they all get to listen to it, but they don't care. But anyways, so we were talking about being addicted to our phones, and that's kind of where the notifications, where I shut off my notifications, or like when you're on a date with your husband, or even if you're doing something with your kids, like taking them to the zoo or whatever. Like we all know that we want to take a picture and use it as a post, right? So what Kendra does is she'll take that one picture and she tells her kids, okay, I'm going to do my post and then I'm going to turn off my phone. So she does her one post, she turns off her notifications, puts it on airplane mode, and then she's done until they're done with whatever they're doing. And that way you're giving your full attention to whatever it is that you're doing, like your family, or if you're working. I know Shailene Johnson does this too. She talks about how her whole family knows that she works from 10 to 2 and not to contact her, not to call her because she won't answer because she turns her phone off. So obviously, if you don't want to go to that extreme where we all have little kids, it's hard, especially if somebody's watching your kids. You want to make sure that they're okay with whoever they're with. So that's why I just turned off all my notifications, and I know not to check them until it's time to check them. So then the next question she asks is, do you have systems for processes that you repeat regularly? So I was kind of confused when she first said that question, but what she's talking about is, like, do you have a system? So, like, let's say I had 5 people in 1 week ask me what Shakeology was. Do you have a way that's quick and fast that you can answer them back without having to type everything over and over again? She says the thing that helps her is she has a spreadsheet, but I use a Word doc, and I put like the link. So I'll use YouTube videos I'll use YouTube videos to explain things because YouTube videos are way easier to share than me trying to type 1,000 million things. But what she says is, if you find yourself using those same messages over and over again and they're working, she says to copy and paste them and put them in a doc, like Dropbox or whatever, so that when you are somewhere to where you don't have access to your computer, that you can just copy and send the link and then you're done. And it cuts out like 3/4 of the amount of time than it would to go through and search everything every single time. So that is one thing that I've been working on the past day and a half since she talked about it. So the next thing that she talks about is, do you outsource? So I wasn't sure what outsourcing was, and the more she talked about it, I found out what it was. So outsourcing is basically you're hiring people to help you. And obviously, like, I'm not even to that point yet. There's some things that I could possibly have somebody do for me, but I'm not making enough yet to outsource people. So she talks about outsourcing people when you can do it, to like basically pay somebody to do something that somebody else can do, rather than spending that time doing that one thing when you could be doing another thing, when you need to be doing another thing. So for instance, like she pays somebody to come and clean her house every week, and she's like, I can do that now. She's like, but I couldn't do that before. So she's like, that's something that you can outsource. She's like, or if you're like me and you aren't creative at all, she's like, you can go to Fiverr. I think that's how you say it. I'll have to post it in the page. But anyways, they can come up with a logo for you for like $4 or $5. And she's like, I'll be honest, I had somebody design that from Fiverr myself. Like, she's like, I didn't want to mess with it. It was cheaper for me to pay $5 than for me to sit and mess around for 2 hours trying to figure out how to do it. So there's those things. She mentions Elance. Oh, one thing I wanted to share with you guys. So something that I've been messing with is I think it's really going to help. I haven't messed with Sendable yet, but I don't know if you guys have heard of Hootsuite. So when you're running a challenge group, you can actually schedule your posts in your challenge groups ahead of time. And I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I've been doing Hootsuite in your guys' apprentice group to try it out, to see how it does and to make sure that it's working how I want it to. So I can go through one day and just schedule all my posts for the week and be done with it. And obviously, when you do use Hootsuite, you still are going to want to check in with your groups every single day to make sure that everybody else is doing what they need to do. So Hootsuite and Sendable is supposed to be really good. I guess it's a newer one that came out, so I'm going to have to look at that one. But so I've been trying to use those so that I'm not constantly on my phone and constantly trying to do stuff. Anyways, I'll set a day. So usually for me, it's on Sundays. I'll sit and I will schedule my post for the week for like the apprentice group. I just did that this last Sunday. So I've been experimenting to see if it works. And so far it has worked. So, so the ninth question that she asks is, do you set boundaries? So this is one thing that I need to work on. So she says, do you set boundaries for your challengers, your coaches, and with yourself? What she means by that is, so as a coach, you want to be there for your challengers and your coaches and for yourself and your family. So she made some non-negotiable things for herself to do with her challengers, with her coaches, and herself. So the 3 things that she does for her challenge groups is she promises them that she'll check in with the group once a day, and that she'll encourage and support them in the group, and she'll answer any questions within a day or 2. Because if you're like me, I only check into my challenge groups once a day, because that's it. I'm in, I'm out, I'm done. If people want to message me questions, my time is valuable and I can get back to them the next day. And if it's super important, then they can ask in the group and somebody else will answer them in the group, or they can just wait it out or look it up themselves. So then with your challengers, you want to write expectations for them. So for them, I say that I'd like them to check in at least once a day, because I know that a lot of people work. They go to school. They're all busy just like we are. And then I just ask them to follow the program as best as they can, because believe it or not, some of your challengers aren't even going to read through any of the stuff that they get. And I can't tell you how frustrating that is as a coach, to have them not read through what they have first, because a lot of the questions that they'll ask me sometimes are questions that are answered in their program guide. So that's one thing that I require of my challengers when they start. So then for my coaches, this is what I'm going to start implementing. I came up with these last night. So I'm here to help you and to guide you. Are you waving to them? And same thing, I'll message you when I'm working. So you guys are lucky because I'll be working like 3 times a day. Yes, Paisley, don't. So if you have a question, I might not get back to it right away, but I promise I will answer back when I get the time to do it. Then she talks about if they have important questions and they need to talk, she has them schedule a phone call because she has so many coaches. So I'm not to that point yet, and you guys don't call and bug me all the time. I'm pretty sure none of you call me ever. So I'm not gonna push that yet. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do, because I didn't know this until a few months ago, is in the back office they have frequently asked questions. So when you have a question, I highly suggest you to look it up in the frequently asked questions, because more than likely the same question that you're asking, somebody else has already asked it and they have it on the online office. And this will get you familiar with the website, and it'll help you find answers easier so that you don't have to wait for me to get back to you for 24 hours. Then the next thing is, so I love this that she said, because I have like coaches that really like to build, and then I have some coaches that are more discount coaches, and that's totally fine. Like, that's your choice. But I am going to promise you this. I will help you as much as you're willing to work. So I guess I don't know how to explain this. So as long as you're putting in the time to put into the trainings and to the calls, then I'm going to give that same time back to you. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So, because I know that we're all busy. And so obviously the ones that want to build their business, I'm going to want to help, because I can see that they want success just as much as I do. But at the same time, I don't want to push the other coaches to where they aren't really putting forth the effort. And so obviously they don't want the help right now. And that's fine. If it's not for you right now, that's totally fine. Just let me know. And then another thing that she talks about, which I need to ask you all, is let's say you go MIA for like a week or whatever, and I don't hear from you. Like, are you the kind of person that wants me to call you out and say, hey, I haven't seen you post in this group? Or do you want me to just private message you? Or do you like it when I tag you in the post to remind you of our calls? Like, stuff like that. I need to be a better coach in that way and figure out what you ladies are going to want from me to help remind you, or if you even want reminded at all, and if you already have it. And then another thing that I want to really push is team calls. I know sometimes it's a pain in the butt to get on and to listen when you have 1,000,001 other things to do. But I promise you that if you take the time to listen to the team calls, your business will grow more than if you don't. And this is coming from experience, because I would listen to the calls off and on at first. And I've noticed that when I just take the time and I just do it, like, even if you don't have the time to sit and listen to the call, like Sierra, I know that your time is way different than ours. And so it's really hard for you to get on and listen when they actually have the calls. But just make sure that you're making the time, like the next day, to sit and listen to the recording of the calls, because it'll help. And make sure you're taking notes too, because you can always learn something from somebody else. Then, okay, I already talked about that. So the 10th question that she asks is, are you fully present? So she asks, are you honoring your priorities, like as a coach? Like, are you checking in with your challenge groups? Are you inviting people? Are you drinking your Shakeology? Are you doing your workouts? Are you honoring your priorities? Like, are you spending time with your family still? Because she says that you need to show people that you're honorable, basically. And the more honorable you are, and the more, what's the word she used? The more consistent, I guess, you are, the more people will be drawn to you. So whether that be like your posts, your 3 to 5 posts a day, talking about things to help other people, for us, checking in on our challenge groups, like Brigida, I was listening to one of her calls, I think it was on Monday, and I need to post that one too, but like it was really like an eye-opener for me about how people spend this $140 to $200 to entrust in you to have you help them. And I know I haven't been the best coach about this, but I'm going to try to be better for all of you guys and for everybody that you help sign up. But we just need to be present. Like, we need to be present, and we need to be like, people do invest their money and their time into us, and they're trusting us. So we need to make sure that we're there for them, that we're helping encourage them, and that we're doing and we're holding ourselves up to what we told them that we would do, so that they aren't disappointed. So, because she says that we are responsible for the choices we make. So if we have that challenger that just drops off because we weren't checking in our groups, that's on us. That's on us, not them. And I have done that before, and it's really hard to get them to come back and to trust you again after that's happened. So that's one thing that I'm working on. That's one of the non-negotiable things that I have now, is to make sure that I'm checking in with my challenge groups at least once a day. Sometimes, obviously, I'll check in more than once, but at least once a day, so that they know that you're there and that you're paying attention to them and you're still trying to help them. So then she goes in and she talks about Asana and Evernote. So I just highly encourage you guys to get on there and to watch it, because she seriously, she pours out so much information. Not even joking, I took like 10 pages of notes. No lie. My husband was like, what are you going to do with all those notes? Sorry, my phone's going off. Sure, I'll put it. Okay, sorry. Should have had my phone off. So she goes through and she talks about how to use those 2 programs and how she uses it. But a lot of the information that she gives, one of the webinars that she uses is Shailene's Smart Success course. And I'm here to tell you, I looked into taking that course a week ago, and it's $2,000 to take her course. And it's a lot, but that I told Jordan, because financially we can't do it this year, but I'm starting to save for it to do it next year, because I am going to do it, because I hear that it's an amazing, amazing course that you can take that'll completely jumpstart your business. It helps you figure out your why and your niche and tons of other things like that. But then there's also another one that another coach shared with me on Monday, I think, and I'll have to post it in the group, but I'm probably going to do it because it helps. So for $120, I think it is, and then it gives you courses to find your niche. It helps you set up a blog, and it helps you figure out how to find people better. It just gives you a bunch of, they call it a boot camp is what they call it. And so I'm planning on doing that. You ladies can do it if you want. I understand if you don't want to, because it is an extra addition to what you are already working on right now. But I do know that a lot of you are working towards hitting Emerald and getting your Shakeology paid for. So you do what you want. This is what I'm going to do. And then hopefully when I'm done with the course, I can tell you how it went and you guys can see what it does. But anyways, the $120, it helps pay for your blog for the first month. And then the next month after that, they just charge you to help update your blog. And it's through Beachbody that does it. And they update all the specials and stuff on your blog that you have. And I think it's, don't quote me on this, but I think it's $26 a month for them to upgrade your blog every month. So, but I know that a lot of the top coaches use it. Like, I don't know if you've heard of Brandy Bots. She uses the blog thing that I'm talking about. It really bugs me. I can't remember what it's called. But I'll post a link on it. But they give away free webinars all the time that I really like listening to. So that's what I learned from Kendra's call on Monday. And I actually wasn't able to be on the call on Monday, so I listened to it on Tuesday during nap time. So if you get the chance, listen to it, because I promise you it'll be well worth your time. And it actually helped me figure out where I needed to be better as a coach for my team and for even my family. So that's the call for today, I guess. So I guess, do you guys have any questions about anything that I talked about? I know I talked about a lot of stuff, but if you have any questions. Yeah.
I don't have any.
You don't have any? Alyssa, do you have any?
I don't have any questions. I was just going to say that I like it when you tag me in the posts, because like today, for example, I would have totally forgotten we had this call because I have so many.
I totally would have forgot too.
Yeah, I have so many like meetings and stuff for school. It's just too much to keep track of. So I like that you tag me in the post.
Well, because I know that one of my coaches hates it when I tag them, and so that's why I ask. So I know because they don't like to be called out on stuff. And as long as you guys don't care, I'll keep doing it, because I know that if, like, I mean, my upline doesn't do calls, but if they did, I know that I would want them to tag me. But I'm getting to the point now where I'm trying to get more organized, and so I set timers in my phone. My husband gets really annoyed because he feels like my timer goes off all the time. But so if you guys like it, I'll keep doing it. I just don't want to annoy you or bug you if that's not what you want me to do. So that helps. And then seriously, I need input from you ladies. Like, what do you want to learn, like, in the calls? Because I know I always ask on Facebook, and you guys are like crickets, never nothing. I'm like, great, well, what am I going to talk about this time? So if you guys want me to talk about something or teach you something, like, ask. Don't be afraid to ask me. I'm not going to bite you. And I just want to help you. And I love to know what you guys want to learn, because then I'm like, oh, okay, well, I didn't think of that. Like, one day Ashley asked me about finding the website URL. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that, because I had to search and venture out for like 2 months to find that thing for myself. So if you guys have any questions like that, like, just let me know, because that's what I'm here for, is to help you guys. So do you have anything that you want me to talk about the next call? Paisley, and don't be shy. No.
I think it's just hard for me over here because we can't ship Shakeology, so nobody here wants to even have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And if they do, they just get the programs. They don't get the challenge packs.
Yeah. So that's something I was actually going to talk to you about. So in that case, try to hit your target from home. So, like, try to get people from, like, Idaho or from in the United States, and try to invite those people. Because I know that there's tons of coaches that their husbands are in the military, and so they're, like, all over the place too. And that's what they do. So, like, when you hashtag stuff, hashtag different states. I probably should have a call on that, like how to use hashtags, because I've had to try to figure that out myself too. So if you hashtag from other places, or even when you add friends, like add friends from like your hometowns or from states that you want to get coaches from.
Okay.
That's how I would do it if I was in your situation. Because yeah, that would be really hard. So I was thinking about that the other day. But so yes, that's what I would do. Do you have any more questions regarding that? Because I know that would be a pain. I was thinking,
Yeah,
how hard would that be?
I post on Facebook a lot, so
Yeah.
I have to get better at that.
Yeah. There's something else I was gonna tell you guys, but
I've never even used a hashtag. I don't know how they work.
well, basically, so I was like you. I'm like, what is with all these idiots that are hashtagging these weird things? So if you're like me, if I'm looking for new people, I'll search hashtags. So like you can go on Instagram and you can search like hashtag new mom. So there's a whole bunch of pictures of new moms on there. So then you can be like, oh, well, she doesn't look like she's coaching and she just had a baby. Maybe she'd be interested. So then on Instagram, you go through and you like, I've experimented, like at least 10 times, like 10 different pictures of theirs, and then comment on one of their pictures, and then they'll add you as a friend. So then they'll start seeing all your posts, and then they'll hopefully eventually say that they want to try something with you. That's how I work Instagram. That's how I've learned, just by watching what other coaches do. So anyways, so we have less than a minute left. So if you guys have any questions, like I said, your challenge for this week is I want you to go through and listen to that call. And there's another call tonight that Sean, however you pronounce his last name, really confusing last name. He's from Canada, and he is awesome. He's one of the coaches that, like, I ask so many questions to him, and he answers, and he's so nice about it. So if you can make it on, I would make it on. Sierra, I'm sure you'll be sleeping, but watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, I usually listen to him while I make dinner.
Yeah, see, that's what I do. I listen to him when I make dinner, when I'm folding laundry. Just that's one of the things. But I will also have a notepad too, so I can take notes. So if I'm like, oh, that's interesting, write it down. That's what I do. So that's what I encourage you ladies to do this week, is listen to Kendra's. Get to know Evernote and Asana. So I guess that'll close our call for today. But like I said, if you guys have any questions, post it in the page or message me, and I'll get back to you when I can. Okay. So
Okay.
Thanks for making the time to be on the call, though. I really do appreciate it. It's nice not to actually talk to somebody instead of and I promise it'll pay off for you guys being on the call.